ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, 18.49 should be self-controlled, unattached, and disregard all material enjoyments. By this, they'll become free from all reaction. Real renunciation means that one should always think himself part and parcel of Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada is giving the actual meaning of renunciation, what we should do. And therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the results of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Krishna consciousness. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. So if we have money, then money has to be used in the service of Krishna, not for our sense gratification. By such a mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for the Supreme. Thus, he is not attached to anything material. He becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. Now, this is a very high, tall order, not very easy to reach. This thing about one is satisfied because he's actually acting for the Supreme. When one is satisfied by serving Krishna, when one is fully satisfied while serving, because he's serving Krishna, he will not have anything to get from material activities. But because today, in our state of Krishna consciousness, we are not fully satisfied. We are not fully satisfied, so we are looking for some happiness from other so-called happiness from material things. One who is fully satisfied, he will not be attached to anything material. And Prabhupada is saying he becomes accustomed. Accustomed means like practice, getting used to. He gets used to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness. So he's not that he doesn't have happiness. He experiences transcendental happiness, which he gets from the service of the Lord. Beyond that, he gets used to not taking pleasure from anything else. See, when Prabhupada is saying gets accustomed, which means it's a matter of practice. It's a matter of practice, sadhana, that we engage in activities of Krishna and we derive transcendental happiness from that service. Because of that and the association with devotees, our desire for material things reduces. This already Krishna spoke in the second chapter. Vishya nivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavardham rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So we have to experience higher taste in the service of Krishna. Very, very important. So we should not just mechanically engage in activities. If we mechanically engage in activities, then we will not experience the transcendental happiness. So whenever we are doing anything for Krishna, for example, we are doing a garland or we are doing a class or we are doing kirtan or we are doing anything, we should remember it is for his pleasure. When we do it for his pleasure, automatically transcendental happiness will be experienced. We are not doing with the intention saying that I am going to let me achieve some happiness. Yesterday in one class I was hearing His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was saying that when we try to get transcendental happiness, we will not get it. Because getting transcendental happiness is not by our effort. Getting transcendental happiness is the mercy of Krishna. And when does Krishna bestow that mercy? When we have done the service selflessly for his pleasure, then he will give us mercy. By that mercy, we will experience happiness. Right? So if we are going behind getting happiness from spiritual activities, then whatever we experience is actually not spiritual, but actually material. But it's okay because it is still giving us some rasa. So we will stick to that activity. And by just doing that activity, we'll become purified. And eventually, we'll come out of this. We will want to work only for the pleasure of the Lord. A sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains the perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation. So for people in Krishna consciousness, actually sannyasa ashram is not mandatory. Because actually the important thing is to be in Krishna consciousness, irrespective of which ashrama we are in. So a person in Krishna consciousness automatically attains perfection without even accepting sannyas. This state of mind is called yoga rudha. So in the sixth chapter, yoga rudha tasya, what Krishna says, that such a person doesn't have any work. He doesn't have to do any work. Perfectional stage of yoga, as confirmed in the third chapter, Yastva Atmaravittarathireva Syat, Atmatriptascha Manamaha. One who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. Satisfied in himself meaning not pride. Satisfied in himself meaning satisfied in the position of being Atma, which means in the service of the Lord. One has to be satisfied. Okay, whatever. This is a matter of constant practice. That is why many of these things, they have to go into our consciousness and we have to practice it on a daily basis. Okay. My situation is not favorable because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's okay. I'm still satisfied with whatever Krishna has given. Because actually, if Krishna desires or Krishna wills, all our so-called difficulties in life can vanish in 1 second. Be it people, relations, money, health, whatever it is, right? It can vanish in 1 second. But the reason that they're not vanishing, they're still there and sometimes even increasing for many devotees. Basically, we should understand that Krishna wants it to be there because there is something that we need to learn from that. And so our focus needs to be to really figure out what that is, what is that I need to learn, and then learn that and be satisfied. Okay, this Krishna, this is mercy. So let me just try to be equipoised. Na sochati na kankshati. And we have to keep trying this. This is not, this is Brahma Bhuta. This is Brahma Bhuta stage. When we come to the stage of Brahman, so stage of Mukti. So it's not an easy thing, but we have to keep practicing, keep practicing. How do we practice this? Anytime any thought comes into our mind which is material, maybe about people, maybe about situations, maybe something to do with happiness, distress of this material world, we should just ignore it. We should simply ignore it. It's like a child is speaking some nonsense, blah, blah, blah. Parents don't give too much attention to it and say, it's okay. She's just blabbering. It's okay. That is entertainment for the child. That's okay. But parents are not taking it very seriously. And similarly, mind will come and say 1,000 things. "Oh, this person is like that. That person is like that. This situation is like that. That situation is like that." We can just ignore. Just don't give attention to it. So this is something. I try to practice every day. Fail, but again try. Fail, again try. It goes on. But we have to keep trying. We have to keep trying till we reach a stage where all these useless thoughts, even if they come, are just ignored. And subsequently, then the thoughts will stop coming itself. That is important. And the best way to achieve it is to increase thoughts about Krishna, Krishna's service, and Krishna consciousness. सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्मा तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. The one who has achieved this perfection, it's the perfection of renunciation. Lord describes for Arjuna how one can achieve the highest perfection state simply by being engaged in his occupational duty, performing the duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One attains the supreme stage of Brahman simply by renouncing the result of his work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So this is what Krishna has told in the previous verse. This is the process of self-realization. The actual perfection of knowledge is in attaining pure Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is just clarifying, okay, Krishna is talking about giving up results for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And at a higher level, it is perfection of Krishna consciousness, attaining pure Krishna consciousness. Buddhya vishuddhaya yukto dhrityatmanam niyamya cha शब्दादीन् विषयांस् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषौ व्युदस्य च विविक्तस्येऽपि लघ्वांश्चि यथा वाक्कायमानसः ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. This is the Brahmabhuta stage. What person who is being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up objects of sense gratification, being free from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, power of speech, who is always in trance, who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and is peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Actually, there are so many qualities here. We don't have to break our heads over this. Simply, we have to engage in Tivra Bhakti. If we engage in Tivra Bhakti, automatically intelligence becomes purified, mind becomes controlled. We will have determination by spiritual strength. We give up sense gratification. We become freed from attachment and hatred. Lived in a secluded place means not getting affected by people around us, material people. We will eat little. Okay, this is very difficult for devotees. But over a period of time, we will eat little means only as much as required to keep the body and soul together. We can control mind, body, and speech. We're always in trance, meaning always thinking about Krishna, Krishna's activities, Krishna's service. Detached from material things, free from false ego. We won't think that I'm the body. From false strength, false pride, lust, anger, acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship. Nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna. And so I'm peaceful. So all these, so many qualities, if somebody wants to develop these qualities one by one, it's practically impossible, right? So simply by coming to the platform of Krishna consciousness, all this can be achieved. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. So this is very important, like I've been highlighting. We have to come to mode of goodness before coming to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. How will that happen? When we are purified by intelligence, meaning our intelligence will make sure that we don't go down or we don't engage in activities which are mode of passion and ignorance. Then we will remain in the mode of goodness. When one is in the mode of goodness, one becomes controller of mind and always in trance. He is not attached to the objects of sense gratification, is free from attachment and hatred in his activities. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in a secluded place. He does not eat more than what he requires, and he controls the activities of his body and mind. He has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself, nor has he a desire to make the body fat and strong by accepting so many material things. Because he has no bodily concept of life, he is not falsely proud. He is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of the Lord and is never angry in the absence of sense gratification. Nor does he endeavor to acquire sense objects. Thus, when he is completely free from false ego, he becomes non-attached to all material things. And that is the stage of self-realization of Brahman. That is called Brahmabhuta. When one is free from material conception of life, he becomes peaceful and cannot be agitated. Apuryamanam machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve tashantim apnoti na kama kami. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, it is ever being filled, but is always still. So main thing is, even though there are desires, he is not disturbed, meaning he doesn't act on them. One can achieve peace and not the man who strives to satisfy desires. If you're continuously trying to satisfy desires, many people say, keep satisfying your desires, then at one point of time you will be free from desires. There's nothing like that. The more we engage in fulfilling our desires, the more it will want. It's just like a child. You give him more chocolate, he wants more chocolate. Simple. So the more we try to satisfy our desires, the more we will want. Mind will not give up. Mm. So it's only by experiencing a higher taste can we give up this lower taste. Material things is a lower taste. Mm. So we have to experience higher taste. And experiencing higher taste, if it comes naturally to us, then it's okay. We're good, very fortunate souls. Otherwise, we have to do it in the association of devotees. And when we see those other devotees who are experiencing higher taste, then we will also experience in their association. So this is Brahmabhuta stage. So simply put, I mean, it's a long list. Simply put, na sochati na kankshati. Right, that's what Krishna says now. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. To summarize all that he said in the previous verse, Krishna is saying one is thus transcendently situated, at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. And he realizes means he actually comes to the stage of clearly understanding that he is not the body. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity because he sees every living entity as a soul. In that state, it is not the end of self-realization. It is the beginning of the stage of pure devotional service. Please understand, this is the beginning of pure devotional service. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Meaning, till we come to the stage of Brahmabhuta, whatever we are doing is just like Mishra Bhakti, or sometimes it's like a reflection of Bhakti. It's not even Bhakti. As in, we might be doing some activities, but our consciousness is fully off. And some people might be in neophyte stage. Then slowly they becomes little more advanced and they'll become serious in bhakti, but they're still very serious about their karma and achieving things, etc., etc. These are not when people are in those stages, then they cannot come to this stage of realizing Supreme Brahman. Meaning it's not the stage of pure devotional service. So we are practicing now to come to the stage of actually practicing pure devotion. So which means, what is the difference between mixed devotion and pure devotion? Is complete purification. Purification of material desires, purification of material thoughts. Purification of material thoughts means basically no material thoughts. So one has to come to pure devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karma anavritam. So bhakti, which is anya abhilashita shunyam, which has no other desires but to please Krishna. That we will achieve only when we come to the stage of Brahmabhuta. So we should understand that if we are just being very casual in doing our bhakti, attaining Brahmabhuta is not a joke. Attaining Brahmabhuta is like the perfection for Jnanis. Please understand. Jnanis, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Bahunam Janmanam, I mean, they take so many years, lifetimes, to come to this Brahmabhuta stage. And bhakti is so powerful that actually we can achieve it. Like Prabhupada said, if you make up your mind, give this life to Krishna. He said, you've given so many lives to Maya before, give one life to Krishna and you will achieve. So we can reach this Brahmabhuta stage very, very quickly in devotional service, very quickly. Compared to other processes, it is super quick. To the impersonalist, achieving Brahmabhuta is the last word. But for the personalist or pure devotee, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service is already in a state of liberation. Brahmabhuta means liberation, oneness with the absolute. So this oneness with the absolute is not like I am going to become one with him. It is I am going to be one with his desires. I'm going to be one with his instructions. Meaning I'm going to just follow whatever he says. That is oneness with the absolute. Without being one with the Supreme, one cannot surrender service unto him. This also means that without coming to the platform of Brahman, we cannot serve Krishna. Platform of Brahman means just realizing that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. That is platform of Brahman, and uh, acting on that platform. When we are acting on that platform all the time that I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, that means that I'm servant of Krishna and that I'm just doing devotional service all the time, so that we raise up ourselves above the material platform. That is Brahman stage. And only when we reach that Brahman stage, because that stage is the stage where Krishna will accept our service, because we become qualitatively equal to him. As in, we are already qualitatively equal, but we don't realize it. But when all this contamination is gone, then we realize that, okay, I am Brahman. I am Atma, part and parcel of Krishna, so I am Brahman. Now, without being contaminated by material modes, I will serve Krishna. This is pure devotional service. Okay, in the absolute conception, there's no difference between the served and the servitor, because both Atma and Paramatma, both are qualitatively non-different. Yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. Now, what does this higher spiritual sense means? When we come to the platform of rasa, when we talk about rasa, when we talk about rasa, there is a served and the servitor. So there is a distinction. Krishna is the served and we are the servitors. Otherwise, if we just see on the Brahman platform, then yeah, all of us are Brahman. He's Parabrahman, I'm Brahman. But there's no difference because qualitatively I'm one with the Supreme. But Prabhupada is saying, but there is a distinction in a higher spiritual sense. And impersonalists don't understand this. That's why Prabhupada is explaining this. Impersonalists don't understand. They just think that Aham Brahmasmi. But they don't understand that I am not Parabrahma. I am only Brahman. In material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in the absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee has nothing for which to lament or desire. See, we have to come to this platform. No lamenting, no desire. Lamenting means, ayo, why this happened? Desire means, I want this, I want that. We should come to this platform where we're saying, I don't care what happened. All Krishna's mercy. I am not lamenting over anything of the past. I'm not desiring anything for my present or future. Since God is full, a living entity who is engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness becomes also full in himself. He becomes full, satisfied. He's just like a river cleansed of all dirty water. Because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna, is naturally always joyful. See, actually, if we are in touch with Krishna, there is no way we can be unhappy. But because we are not in touch with Krishna, we are going through so many emotions. So another way of looking at it is, when we are going through emotions, we have to try to come in touch with Krishna. Then those emotions will go off. That is why Prabhupada said chant Hare Krishna as much as possible, because we will be in touch with Krishna. And when we are actually in touch with Krishna, meaning not just words are coming out of our mouth, no. Actually, hearing and realizing that, oh, I'm taking Radha and Krishna's name. When we are chanting with that consciousness, we are actually with Krishna. Then we become joyful. Then it does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain, because he is fully satisfied. He has no desire for material enjoyment, because he knows that every living entity is a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and therefore eternally a servant. He does not see someone as higher and someone as lower. Higher and lower positions are ephemeral, temporary, and the devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances and disappearance. Because the higher and lower positions are all connected to the body, which are all temporary. For him, stone and gold are of equal value. This is Brahmabhuta stage, and this stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. By the pure devotee means what? By one who wants to become pure, he will achieve it easily. Meaning, if you are engaging today in bhakti without any desires, that person will very easily achieve Brahmabhuta. In that stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme Brahman and annihilating one's individuality becomes hellish. The idea of attaining heavenly kingdom becomes phantasmagoria. I mean, it's like a dream and it's anyway useless. And what is the use of achieving heavenly kingdom? And the senses are like serpents whose poison teeth are broken. As there's no fear of a serpent with broken teeth, there's no fear from the senses when they're automatically controlled. The world is miserable for the materially infected person, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha. The highest personality in this material universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Such a stage can be achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preached pure devotional service in this age. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not preach mixed devotional service. Today, in the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devotees engage in all kinds of activities and they don't want to practice pure devotional service. This is just cheating. We're just cheating ourselves. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually taught us pure devotional service, meaning no other desires. But because we are not able to come out of all that, we will just say, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. First, we'll say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. Then, if we push them, give them all this logic, then they'll say, no, my Guru Maharaj is very merciful. Merciful doesn't mean that, we'll just say this and then do whatever we want. Mercy actually means following instructions. We should always remember this. We go in front of Vaishnavas and say, please give me mercy. Actually, mercy means following whatever they are saying. That is mercy. Automatically mercy flows. Okay, so bottom line is, as the first milestone for devotees, all of us, is this Brahmabhuta stage. This is our first milestone before achieving perfection. Because when we reach this stage by practice of bhakti, then we can engage in pure devotional service. And what does it mean to reach this stage? That we transcend material happiness, distress. We transcend the material platform. And this is also very important. Actually, we're equally disposed toward every living entity, seeing every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme. So we don't hate anybody, we don't love somebody. All this is material. Anyway, Prabhupada says there's nothing like love in this material world, it's all lust. So the point is that we should simply engage in Krishna service in the association of right devotees. So it's very important. This association is very, very important. Can't be overstressed. Then we can come, because we need to come to this. We need to come to this, right? This Brahman is like, like climbing Mount Everest. Now, how easy? How easy is it? If we just take the, efforts that we need to put to reach Mount Everest very lightly, saying, okay, I will do whenever I can. I will not do when I can't. Then we can't reach. So we have to put consistent, intense effort. And the beauty of this consistent, intense effort is all happiness. It's actually blissful. It's not like going to a gym and breaking our muscles and, struggling and body is paining. Bhakti is not like that. Even for somebody who's fully fallen, bhakti is rasa, is susukham, gives happiness. But if we get stuck with bad association, without proper guidance, then bhakti can be boring, painful. We won't understand what really bhakti is. Bhakti is so beautiful. I mean, bhakti is bliss. So by doing that bhakti, which is not pure, but wanting to be pure, meaning we are still in impure state, but we want to be pure, by practice of such bhakti, not encouraging impure devotional service. I mean, I keep having this discussion, argument with many people saying, they say, see, we should do how much ever we can. I said, what does this mean? Will you do that on the material platform? So they say, with respect to bhakti, they say, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Just do how much ever you can. So I asked that person, okay, your work, what do you do? Do you only do how much ever you can? You'll be over endeavoring. Why? Because there's somebody, pushing you. There's your boss, somebody sitting on your head saying, do this, do this, do this. So whether you like it or not, you will do. But in spiritual life, because there is still a boss, but we don't consider him as the boss. Who is the boss? Guru is the boss. But we don't consider him as boss. So we don't follow what he's saying. So we will just say, do how much ever is possible. But material platform, we are over endeavoring. We are pushing ourselves. So then why bhakti we should not push ourselves? Why bhakti should be done only as much as possible? Why only material things should be done with extra effort? I was having one conversation. Some devotee told me, saying that, Prabhu, I'm doing, some book distribution once a week. And then other devotees are pushing me, saying that, why you're doing once a week? Why you're become so committed? Why you're becoming so committed? This is not good. Don't rise up, in the platform bhakti and then fall. So according to them, distributing books once a week can make us fall down. Actually, it's the opposite. If one goes out and distributes books once in a week, he will be super protected from Maya. There's no way he's going to fall down. The one who is saying, no, no, take it easy, do only as much as you can, that person has a chances of falling down. Not the one who is dedicating himself to service of Krishna. Anyway, so the point I'm making is, without coming to Brahmabhuta, and we take things very lightly, do very casually, Brahmabhuta is not easy. It's not easy. And so Tivra Bhakti is the answer. Tivra Bhakti, which is blissful. This is what I want to highlight. Bhakti, we can do so much, and there is so much of bliss we can experience when we try to do it for Krishna's pleasure. Not trying to derive pleasure for ourselves. And then it's not very difficult to reach Brahmabhuta. It's not very difficult to reach Brahmabhuta. I mean, it's not very difficult when I'm saying that compared to millions of lifetimes, when a Gnani will take to reach that stage, devotee can reach in a few years. Seriously, I mean, one life we can achieve perfection, Prabhupada said, right? So, not a big deal at all to get there, but there is a method. There's a way of sadhana. If we do that, then we can achieve this. And when we come to that, we actually attain pure devotional service. And pure devotional service is pure bliss. What can we say about pure devotional service? We'll talk about that some other time. Okay, so we'll conclude here. Very, very important words, actually. So please focus on this. Please focus on doing Tivra Bhakti so that we can come to this Brahmabhuta's platform. Don't entertain too many material thoughts. Material thoughts come. If it is not related to Krishna, just ignore them. Don't give it too much importance. We don't need to be on this material speculative platform. As much as possible, we should be on the platform of bhakti. Alright, that means think about Krishna, think about Krishna's service. Do your duties, whatever we need to do, we continue to do. I mean, that we are not, that Krishna has very clearly said, right? Do your duties, offer the results to Krishna. End of story. Right? But the rest of the time, consciousness, mind, intelligence, everything should be engaged in Krishna. This is important. Okay, I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, please ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have one question. When I have observed myself when I do bhakti, so at home whenever I have time, or even I am busy with office work, I try to get some time and try to read. I just want to finish my work as soon as possible, and I want to get that time from the office time. And I watch Swamiji videos and any religious thing like reading books Bhagavad Gita, and there is Swamiji video on YouTube. So I watch those. So I really like those. But sometimes when I see others in terms of money, parallelly I look to grow in that area as well. So how can we manage both, or means but I more enjoy in the bhakti. But when we are living people like who are growing more, so how can we manage those things, so which will not distract us?
Yeah, so see, basically the point Krishna says is do your duty. Karmanevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We should not bother about the result. Those people who are getting more, they are getting more because of their previous karma. They have done some good karma in their past life. They are getting it. How can we compete with them? Because our what we are getting in this life is based on our previous karma. If you have done good karma, then we will get. This is from a just a general competitive minds perspective, right? How whether we should be competitive with others or not. Now we should understand one more thing as devotees. I mean, as practicing devotees, we should understand saying that Krishna will give if he thinks he should give. Krishna will not give if he thinks he should not give. When will Krishna think that he should give to a devotee money, especially when that person is not attached to his money at all? When a person is not attached to his money and he is using his money to Krishna in Krishna's service, Krishna will give him more and more because he knows, okay, this person is not going to waste my money, right? That money is Krishna's, and he knows that how much ever I give, I know that he will use it in Krishna's service. So Krishna will simply give. You don't even have to endeavor. Simply do your duty. So whatever work has been allotted to you, do it faithfully, sincerely. Finish it. Whatever extra time you get, like you're doing, yes, and use it for devotional service. And then whatever economic growth has to come, it will come. Don't have to look at others at all. If it has to come, it will come. We don't have to worry about it. We are doing our duty. Give the rest to Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Prabhuji.
Anything else? Anybody? People are so concerned. Varamaha Lakshmi, they want to do, you want to please Lakshmi Mata. Saying, give me money. Dhanam dehi, yasham dehi, rupam dehi. I want money, I want success, I want beauty, I want this, I want that. But they'll worship Lakshmi Devi alone. And Lakshmi Devi is saying, where is my Pati Dev? Narayana is not here. They're worshipping me alone. So don't worship Lakshmi alone. Worship Lakshmi with Narayana. That is why we always say Hare Krishna. We don't say Krishna. Hare Krishna. Radha Krishna. Sita Rama. Lakshmi Narayana. Anyway, can inform others. So we always don't worship Lakshmi. Lakshmi will come. Lakshmi will come when she knows that she is going to be utilized in her Swami's service. She will happily come. She will happily come to the houses of devotees because she knows devotees won't use her for their own sense gratification. I used to give one very crude example. Lakshmi is Narayana's wife. We are using somebody else's wife in our service. So we should never use Lakshmi for our service. We should always use Lakshmi for Narayana's service. And when we do that like that, Narayana is happy, Lakshmi is happy. Lakshmi will happily reside in that house. Happily reside in that house. She won't go anywhere. She won't become Chanchala. She is she will not stay in one place where her Pati Swami is not being worshipped. Simple fact. Simple fact. Every day we are worshipping Radha and Krishna. Every day we are worshipping Krishna and his energy. Lakshmi Devi is just energy expansion of Radharani. So every day, 2 hours we are worshipping them. People worship Lakshmi Devi once in a year. We worship them every day. Why will Lakshmi not benedict us? Not give us mercy? Absolutely, she will give. But provided we are not selfish. Okay. In close here, those are two lines for Varamahalakshmi Habba, Varamahalakshmi festival. Okay, in close here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanta Kalpatarubhyascha Prabhupada Devata, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo, Santa Koti Vaishnava ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jai, Hare Krishna.